All right, good morning, everyone. Did you all not get the coffee? All right, this is Think About Your Brand. Now, as opposed to what Gabrielle just showed, which, by the way, round of applause for Gabrielle. Thank you. This is your personal brand we're talking about in here. So personal brand is really simple. It kind of is a, by the way, I am a marketer. I think I'm like there's like 3 champions who are actual marketers because we're generally not welcome at parties. A personal brand is your reputation, right? That's the easiest way. And by the way, the last slide will have contact information so you can email me and get the slides. Your personal brand is your reputation. Also, I'm American. I speak very quickly. That's all it is. But here's why it matters today for you. 3 things. Number 1, if you work at a company, your company desperately needs your help as an individual to share information because all the social media algorithms that are out there have punished the living daylights out of companies. They can get no reach on Facebook. They can get no reach on Instagram. They get no reach on LinkedIn. But you, as an individual, as a human person, get reach because these algorithms are favoring the individual. So you can help out your company in the promotion of information. 2, it helps promote the overall understanding of your corporate reputation and voice. And again, this is important because we don't buy from corporations. We buy from other human beings, right? So if we want to help sell what our company has to offer, we have to do it through us as people and not as a faceless corporation. And 3, and probably most important to everyone in this room, building a personal brand is about your lifeboat. It is your insurance policy that goes with you, and it is the one thing that is immune to a job change, to a down market, to anything. It is what you have that is uniquely yours that no one can take away except you. And the only way you really take it away is by doing something really stupid. So, what are the ingredients of a personal brand? 5 pieces. Number 1, your brand voice, which we'll talk about in a second. The people you're connected to, and then the stuff that you make that demonstrates your expertise. So, your brand voice can be one of 4 angles. Sorry. You can take any one of these 4 approaches or mix and match them. Number 1, you can create content that are about your values, the foundation of who you are as a human being, how you think about things, how you want the world to be. Right? So if you happen to be working, for example, in cybersecurity, and you have a certain perspective on the way the U.S. government does things because you feel that ethically it's different than it should be, you can create a lot of credible content that way. Number 2, if you are more of an engineering person, you can talk a lot about structure, about process, about the way things ought to operate, how you do things, how you do stuff in your daily job. Because, again, as Gabby said, there's a good chance that if you have a question that you find the answer to, there's a gajillion other users who have the exact same question, but they either don't know to ask or can't find the answer. You can be the provider of that answer. The third thing that you can create content about are your connections, your passion, everything that you love about what you do. So if you may be one of those people who just absolutely lives and dies by Z-series systems, right? That is your thing. You collect old parts and have them framed and stuff in your house. Don't laugh. Companies actually do that. I saw Blizzard Software sold server blades from the original Warcraft servers framed, and people bought them for like hundreds of dollars. And these things were probably like old Pentium level processors, but people wanted them and loved them. And finally, the one that I would think everybody in this room who's a champion should be terrific at is service. Creating content that is intended to help other people. Right? So instead of like, hey, look how awesome I am and look how awesome my company is and stuff. No, it's what do you need help with? I run a column in my weekly newsletter and my daily blog is called You Ask, I Answer. If you have a question, I'll answer it. Just throw the answer up on YouTube and stuff and give people the answers that they want. And it can be anything. Some people have questions like, hey, how does Google Analytics work? Other people say, how does an ARIMA algorithm compare to SageMaker? So anything that you know that you developed, particularly if you have a little more gray in your hair or a little less hair that you like, you have a lot of experience to share with the world. That's how you find your brand voice. Pick one or more of these areas and mix and match them like Legos. Next, let's talk about how you create the brand. 4 parts. You create content, you distribute it, activate it, and then promote it. And we'll go through each of these pieces. The easiest way to create content at scale is by video. I've got a little tripod sticking on my backpack with my iPhone. I'm wearing 2 microphones because one goes straight to the phone because I'm recording myself as I talk during this lecture. I've got these slides that later on what we're going to do is take that recording, put the slides in it, publish it on YouTube. But because I'm doing video, you're also getting words very quickly, possibly slightly slurred. I've had a lot of coffee. Those words go up into IBM Watson, the Watson speech-to-text product, and what comes back? Written out words, right? So now I have the content that, with a little bit of cleaning, is a blog post and becomes a newsletter, can become an ebook if the talk is a longer talk. I am also talking somewhat loudly, but because I've got the audio, I can turn that into a podcast, for example. So if you want to create video, and you should because it's the format that social algorithms love and people generally are comfortable consuming these days, there's 4 different ways to do it. This is having a phone here and recording myself very much as a video selfie. It at first feels really weird, it's very, very egotistical, but it's the easiest way to capture a lot of data. If you absolutely positively do not want to be in front of the camera, be behind the camera. Interview people, talk to people, ask people. You are at probably the premier technology show of the year, right? You're going to be surrounded by tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. Talk to people, ask them questions, be behind the camera, and then that has the net effect of also getting them to talk about you, because when you post the content, they'll appreciate it. Sit down with people for interviews. How many people have a smartphone capable of recording video? Okay, is there anybody who doesn't? Right. You have the opportunity here, there's like a jillion and a half little coffee shops and bars and stuff at Mandalay Bay. You can, and MGM, you can record interviews with people and ask questions back and forth. If you came with a business partner, the 2 of you could sit down and have, over breakfast and coffee and talk about your experiences at the show. And not just the show, but in general. And finally, if you positively just don't want any interaction with human beings, I used to be one of those people who lives entirely in the basement too. If you just don't want to do that, it's okay. Record screencasts, especially in technology. Screencasts are one of the best ways to demonstrate your expertise, because you can say, okay, I'm loading up Watson Explorer. It's got this really weird thing. Now I have to install Docker, and I have to change the number of CPUs because Docker requires 4 of them, and I have to wait for the image to download 6 gigabytes later, and so on and so forth. And so just by doing the walkthrough of the installation of our product, you will help a whole lot of people go, what does this mean when this cryptic error message shows up? As I said, once you've got the video, this is the important part. Every piece of that video can be carved up and reused in some way. So still images can become photographs, so regular Instagram. Your written word becomes blog content. Your blog content becomes your newsletter, and if it's really popular, it becomes your ebook and white paper. Other social content, you can take little tiny snippets of video, 30, 60 seconds, turn them into Instagram stories, Facebook stories. Your audio becomes a podcast. It becomes the narration to still images inside of Instagram videos, and so on and so forth. You just go around the cycle and make the best stuff that you have. Downside, this takes a lot of time, so just don't sleep. For the process of promotion, activation promotion, once you publish the stuff, you have to do something to attract other people to it. So you tag people, tag organizations. We are all at Think. You should all be tagging the relevant departments of IBM that you work with in any content you publish this week. Tag IBM Analytics and Cloud and Security and all that, because that will automatically, in some algorithms, get people who follow that other thing to find your stuff. Right? Engage with people. As you see conversations happening on the Think 2018 hashtag, particularly on Twitter, engage with people, have conversations with them. If people are asking questions about, how do I use DB2, you can explain to them, like, these are the steps you need to take. Take your content, the stuff that performs the best, refresh it. Really stupid human trick that it's a flaw in the algorithm. If you retweet your own tweets, again, sounds very egotistical and really, really kind of gross, but Twitter treats it as a new tweet but brings along all the social authority of the previous one, so you just retweet yourself. And finally, work with your champion managers. Work with your social VIPs for each of these organizations to have them co-promote. So every department at IBM, I think, has a social VIP team. They are not necessarily champions, but get to know them because they're people who are extremely loud and have large followings, and they can help you promote yourself and your expertise and co-promote content with them. In a lot of cases, the social VIPs do not necessarily know the technology. As a champion, you do, so you can be a great partner to them to explain how things work. Who do you tag? IBM, of course. Other vendor companies. When I landed here in McCarran about an hour and a half ago, all of the airport advertising was for stuff for this event. So I saw Fortinet advertising, I saw IBM advertising, I saw some automotive companies. As you see opportunities, tag in these other companies. Work with those social VIPs and the influencers, and each other. Out of curiosity, how many of you have an active account that you post on at least once a week on LinkedIn? Okay, so there's your entire network for this show. How many people do so on Twitter? Okay, there's the rest of your network. You all have the ability to co-promote each other, and by the way, if you go and comment on each other's stuff, not just like, not just share, but comment, the algorithms have no idea that you are all sitting physically in the same room, but they will see you all helping each other and promote your stuff together, so you will all rise as one tide. Overall, be consistent and be patient with the creation of content. It's outside of major events like Think, it will take you 2, 3, 4 years to get a significant following. And significant I define as 10 to 20,000 people or more. But if you get that following, if you get that group of people who look up to you for your expertise, they will go wherever you go. No matter what the next social network is, if they are subscribed to your personal newsletter or your blog, they will follow along with you. And they are your insurance policy, because when it comes time to change jobs, change companies, change focus, you can say to those 10 or 20,000 people, hey, who should I go work for next, right? Or who's doing something interesting? Your goal as a champion is to never need a resume again, right? To never need to apply for a job again. Your network should be strong enough that when you say, hey, where should I go next? 15 people line up, and immediately you have your pick of what you want to do. That's your goal. That's your outcome. Again, if you'd like a copy of these slides and the video and the audio, and you get the idea, take a picture of this and let me know. Thank you very much.